And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of the Sport Podcast. Today's episode is one that I'm very excited about. We have the legendary Mathew Tembo in the house. For production-wise, we have Davido and we have Alinafe who are helping us with the technicalities. I am your host, as always, Ukwimi Edward. Should I call you Doc or Mr. Mathew Tembo? Which one do you...
Oh, no, Mr. Oh, if you want to say Doc, if you want to put that title there, it's going to be Dr. Mathew Tembo, but you can also call me Mathew Tembo.
We can also call you Mathew Tembo. No, we are so excited to sit down with you and have this interview with you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you are a legend, and we can just hold the microphone close. Yes, you are a legend. You know, it's one thing from watching someone on TV to having to sit down with them and talk to them. I'm very excited.
I'm excited too. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so just to begin with, who can you say? Because I know now you have a doctorate in music. Is it in music?
Yes.
So, like, how can you describe for those that are like seeing you for the first time or just know you from the music? How can you describe yourself? Who is Mathew Tembo beyond the music?
Oh, Mathew, I don't know how to describe myself aside the music or beyond the music because my whole life has been music. But I'll try. So Mathew Tembo is a musician, a scholar, a researcher, born and bred in Zambia.
Okay.
And then, when I got into music right after high school.
When was that? When was the year that you got into?
Mid-1990s, 95, 96, somewhere there.
95, I was born here in 95. I was born then. Okay.
So around that time, after I graduated high school, and I didn't know myself that I was going to become a musician, but I lived in Kaunda Square, in Lusaka, Kaunda Square, Stage 1, and my neighbors were Rasta, and they had a band. It was called VAM, short for Victor, Alfred, and Martin. So 3 guys. So there was a band called VAM. They were my next door neighbor. And around in the 1990s, I know I did not say yes, but some of you were not even. But in the 1990s, there was a lot of strife going on in Africa, in sub-Saharan Africa. So we had apartheid in South Africa had just ended, and then we also had lots of we had Frelimo and Renamo wars in Mozambique, and there was also, of course, rebel wars in the Democratic Republic of Congo. When I say, of course, I don't mean there should be wars there, but we understand that it's been going on for a long time, the fighting in Congo. There was famine in Ethiopia. There was the genocide in Rwanda. So there was a lot of strife. And for me, listening to all these things through the news, TV and stuff, I thought to myself, I think it would be good if I can contribute towards, the unity of Africa, peace. And but I didn't want to be a papa. For me, music was going to be this platform where I could do that. Yeah. And so that's how I got into music. And so my neighbors were Rasta. They introduced me to the culture, but also the music, the reggae, and through that, I listened to a lot of reggae, and I appreciated these people. They were, in the Caribbean, but they talked about Africa as if they lived here. Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, and when they talked about Africa Unite and all those kind of things. So I was like, this is cool. So that's how I got into it. So I got hooked to the music. And when I told my family that I wanted to do music, they were not so impressed. Okay. So what's the word? The compromise there was, okay, if you want to do music, if you want to be a musician, then you should go to school. Yeah. You should study music instead of you thinking you're going to write a hit song and become, make lots of money. So I listened to their advice, and that's how I got into. So for me, I think scholarship and music was launched almost simultaneously. So I got into music, but also into scholarship. So I went to Evelyn Horn to do music, did a diploma in music teaching. I taught music for, I think, 2 years in Chipata. And I think 1999, 2000. So while I was in Chipata, I also worked as a music producer at a friend's studio. Michel Billier, this Belgian guy. Actually, he now lives in Kitwe. But he had a studio in Chipata, and so I worked as a producer there. And that's where I recorded my first album called Be Humble. And it was released in 2000, 2001 through a friend, some friends' connection. I toured Europe. That was the first time actually I traveled abroad. So 2001, I was in Europe, mostly in the Netherlands. And that's where I recorded my second album, Save My Soul. This is where you get songs like Nela, Kumaliandim, and so on. Yes. So then from there, I was back and forth between Zambia and Europe. And then 2004, I went back to school because I wanted to have a bachelor's. I couldn't advance out there to do a master's or a doctorate because that diploma from Evelyn Horn wasn't recognized out there. I don't know, maybe it is now. So I couldn't, so when they introduced music, this degree program at UNZA, then I decided to go back to school. So I went back to study, to do my bachelor's 2005, all the way to 2009. After graduated, then 2 years later, I went to do my master's in the US. My first master's actually was music performance. And then after that, graduated in 2013, went back to touring. And then 2017, went back to do my PhD, graduated in 2024. But in between school, I've been doing lots of music. The only thing that I've been doing actually is just music. So it's been like music, tour, study, tour, that kind of thing. And maybe studio also, yeah.
So I can see you have a ring. When did you, despite all this cool music, when did you now like settle down in terms like got married and the like?
No. I've had family for some time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll leave it at there. But yeah.
So yeah, you manage because I never would say no. Me, I'm too busy to get to settle down and start a family. But you have had them for a while.
Yeah. I have a 13-year-old in the US, and she plays music with me, and I have family here too. And I've been in Zambia, born here, bred here. So yeah.
Okay. So in terms of the touring, like you have toured a lot of countries around the globe. How is the reception in terms of African music and the style of music that you do like out there? How do the people receive it?
Very well. I used to do reggae. I used to be a reggae artist. Like I said, in the beginning, that I got into music through reggae. My neighbors were reggae musicians, So I got into music through reggae. So even when I'm talking about the first tour in Europe, in the Netherlands, it was actually reggae, that I was. But the response was good. The first tour, European tour in 2001 was great. Up to now, memories are still as fresh, because it was just the way that people received the music was just amazing. So yes, but along the way, I was back in Europe in 2004. Actually, I was auditioning for graduate school at the Rhythmic Conservatory in Copenhagen. And after my audition, this professor came up to me. I played 3 reggae songs. I think I played Bob Marley's No Woman No Cry, and then Nela, my own composition, Nela, and then Kumariandim. So those 3. So after my performance, this professor came up to me, and he asked if I was from Jamaica. So I told him actually that I was from Zambia. And he jokingly was like, oh, why didn't you play some Zambian music? You know, but that actually was stuck in my head for a long time. And so even when I returned home to Zambia in 2004, I kept that question kept coming back. And that's how I transitioned from reggae to the music that I do now, kind of like, you know, indigenous pop. And how it happened was so interesting because when I came back, that question kept popping up. And that for a while, I didn't know what to do musically. It's not like I was thinking of getting a formal job or anything like that, but it was just like, okay, I need to find myself. And I was taking a walk one evening in Kaunda Square, and I heard this sound, this sirimba sound.
The sirimba sound.
And right away, I knew that's what I was going to do. It was kind of like I had found myself. So I followed the sound. I found this boy playing. I think he was one of these guys, dancers in the National Dance Troupe. Yeah. So then I talked to him about him teaching me and how to play the sirimba. But he was like, oh, yeah. And then, so this is 2004. Not too many people had cell phones. I did have one, but he didn't. So our communication, our arrangement was based on, our meeting was based on, arranging beforehand to say, okay, can we meet on this day? So we would do that, and then I would go on the day that he said we meet, and he's not home. So I decided I was going to get my own sirimba. So I got a sirimba, and then I started teaching myself how to play it. And that is how I transitioned. And so for months, maybe half a year, I didn't perform in public. I was just like kind of like making music on this new instrument. And then when I thought I was ready, when I felt I was ready, I went back to my band. I told them that we're going to start touring again. And but I also told them that it was we were also going to be playing this traditional music using this. They were not so impressed because, of course, people knew us as a reggae outfit. So, I mean, I'm telling them we are going to be doing traditional music. Now, and it wasn't a thing in Zambia. You couldn't go out, then you find somebody playing a traditional instrument. That didn't happen. So I think also they were thinking, okay, where are we, what kind of spaces are we going to be performing? Because this is not a thing here. But so I convinced them. I said, okay, we could be doing maybe one or two songs in our reggae set, So we did that. But the interesting thing was that every time we played the traditional stuff, people just went crazy. Like they really loved right here at home, right here in Zambia. People just loved the stuff. So from that experience, I kept writing more songs in using the sirimba as the main instrument at this point. And in 2009, I released the first album that featured indigenous musical instruments from Zambia, mostly the sirimba. And the album was called Anthem. It was recorded at Kula Music Studio. That time it was in Olympia. And then that album, at the time I was releasing that album, there was a record company in the UK called Urban Sedated. And then they were interested in having my reggae song, Nela, on this reggae compilation that they were, doing. So I did send them the Nela song, but I also sent them the album, this album, Anthem that had all these traditional indigenous musical instruments from Zambia that highlighted those instruments. So among the instruments were the sirimba, but also mbalule. You know mbalule, right? This a set of three
that
drums.
One the one from Western Province?
No, Eastern.
Eastern Province?
Yeah, gule wa mkulu and nyau. So that's like the master drum.
Okay.
So it featured those instruments. And so when I sent the Snella song and the album to these guys in the UK, they just loved the traditional stuff, the anthem thing. So like, oh, can we also market this album? I was like, yeah. And so from there, it just started going. So answering your question, when I went back to Europe and mostly the US, performing the traditional stuff now, it was so easy for me to get gigs. It was so easy for me to just do music there. Because in the reggae, there's lots of competition in the US because you have all these Jamaicans touring the US, but also there are Jamaicans, lots of Jamaicans that live in the US. And I did perform with them for some time. But just me performing the traditional music, the sirimba and the kalimba, I think it kind of like made me a little more visible than an average reggae guy, especially from Africa, you know. So, and the reception was really good. I have since performed at very good platforms, mostly festivals. I've headlined at there was a African and Caribbean Music Festival in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That was in 2015, 16. Yeah. I also headlined a festival in California, Bishop, California. I have headlined a lot of festivals. Just so you understand what I mean when I say headlining, right? Yeah, so you have other bands there, but you're like the main guy. Yes. Sure, so the reception out there has been good, but I should say also that the reception at home has been overwhelming. It's been good, yes. Since I think the home thing is different. The reception here has been good since. When did Mpali start?
Yeah, because I was going to come into that one. I was going to ask, like after Mpali, your music was like, everyone who was watching Mpali would see.
Yeah, so almost mainstream. Yeah. But so before then, it was a very niche market, even here at home. Yeah. Of course, out there it is a niche market. I'm not a pop musician, you know, but. Even back home it was until after Mpali, so I don't know. When was that? Maybe 2018?
Yeah,
19, somewhere there, right?
Because I remember I was still in school.
Yeah, I think 18, 19, somewhere there. 2018, right?
2018,
yeah.
Great.
So since 2018, it's been it's kind of like going mainstream. And I think I have a lot of people that there's a lot of fans out there, Mathew Tembo fans now, who have very, very little knowledge of the music that I did before Mpali. You know, like Nela, Mariandim, unless the older ones will still remember. Say, oh, yeah. But the younger ones, like you guys, it starts from 2018.
I know. Me, I used to watch you on ZNBC before 2018.
Okay.
The Mpali, how did that come about? Like your songs being part of Mpali?
Yeah, so I was in the US, you know, at the time, and I was still. I think I was doing my PhD.
Oh, your PhD
2018. Yes. Okay. So 2018, I was still in school, and then I was working on an album, you know. So I did a few albums after. So I did 2009, there's that anthem album that I told you about. Yes. And then 2011, I did another album called Daddy. And then 2013, I did an album called Cha 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 that I recorded in the US at a university, at this university where I went to study, actually, University of Northern Illinois University. And then, so after that album, 2013, I started working on this album, Conquer, right, in the US, in Pittsburgh, with this guy, my producer friend. So we were just working on this music. We had no idea what was going on, Mpali or anything like that. And then 2018, the music was still in the studio. We didn't know when We were going to release it. We're just working. 2018, Frank Sibuku, the guy who came up with this Mpali idea, contacted me because even before, I worked with him when he did Banja. There was a thing.
Oh, Banja, movie TV. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah. So I did a soundtrack for Banja too.
Oh, okay.
So we had that, work relationship.
Yes.
So 2018, I was in the US, and then Frank Sibuku calls me, and he says, I'm starting this Mpali thing, but I want it to be very indigenous, very connected to our roots. Yeah. And the only person that I could think of in terms of doing soundtrack for this is you. And so he asked me if I had any new music. So then there was this music in the studio. I was like, oh yeah, I'll send him a couple of songs from what we've been working on. So I sent him, I think, 2 or 3 songs. Yeah. And I think when he started using it, the people just loved it, like the audience. Yeah. They just loved it, and then he kept asking for more. So in the end, he just used the whole album, that Conquer album.
So
that was
the Conquer album. Yes. All of it was uploaded on Mpali.
Yeah. Okay. But it was 2 separate, the context was not the same. He was doing his Mpali thing. I was recording that album in the US. But somehow the music just connected to what he was doing.
What he was doing.
Yeah. It wasn't like, I didn't sit with him and, kind of like creating soundtrack. But he just used the music as soundtrack.
Actually, I didn't even know that actually the music was in studio. Actually, I thought the music was already out, like sampled what was already out.
He's actually the one who made us, because when people started asking for it, I used to receive a lot of text messages.
Oh, like
when Mpali started, because then people could, they could connect to me, and then they were like, oh yeah, we need this music, we want this music, we love this music. So my producer and I in the US had to work very quickly to get it done, and then so I came to release it in 2019, and we launched it in at Social in Rhodes Park, and it was packed. It was packed.
Yeah, I can.
So yeah,
I can imagine. So the reception has changed. But but in terms of, I saw some recent comments that you made regarding like the genres, the way they're defined in the Zambian music industry.
Yeah.
Do we have a genre for your kind of music?
It's very confusing because who comes up with the names for these genres, right? So in the US, they call it Afropop.
They call it Afropop, okay.
But that doesn't mean anything because anything from Africa, they would just call Afropop, right? So it's just like this umbrella term for whatever comes from, or whatever has roots to African music culture. So I really don't know. Indigenous pop maybe is close enough. Zambia's indigenous pop music would be close. And for me, I would prefer a genre that's in a local language from here. But we haven't gone into that. So yeah, something in the lines of indigenous Zambian pop music.
Okay, so in your view, they should they create like quote experts like artists or scholars in terms when they are coming up with the genres. They say if at some point we want to come up with awards and we're saying okay we are going to create these awards. When we want to come up with those awards, who should define the awards? Should it be the artists or should we call from different parts? We call the technocrats, we call the scholars, and we call the artists themselves too.
Yeah, so who define the expert? The experts know better, right? So in terms of defining or guiding, it should be the experts that should do that. They could sit down and like, okay, how do we categorize these different music styles we have in Zambia? So they can sit down and look at the musical elements in each of those, and then all those that have like similar musical elements, you group them together and find a genre name that could cover all those. right? But I think for me, my problem is leaving it up to the fans to come up with genre or to categorize genre. I think is a mistake, because most fans are not aware of genres or how to categorize these genres. So I'll give you an example. Like how they do it these days is like, Mathew Tembo, like the last Kwacha Awards. Yeah. So I had a song that was nominated for Best Reggae, and it was a reggae song, Cop Smile-itis. It is a reggae song. And then in the same category, we had Vincenzo, and then I think we also had Toera, and I think there was, is it Tishon? Was there. So my point was, there was, I mean, who got that award? Was it Vincenzo, I think?
What awards? David, check who got...
I think it was Vincenzo. But, yeah. But, so what I'm trying to say is when you listen to that song, really, it's not, you couldn't say it's close enough to reggae. Okay. It's not. Or dancehall, or, you know? Yeah. But I think what happens is when people just push in these music styles into like one category, I think what happens is, of course, they'll ask people to vote. Yeah. Whoever has the largest following wins. It doesn't. For me, my theory is, even if they had the Kalindula guy in the reggae category, and the Kalindula guy had the most following out there, he would still win the reggae award. So at that point, who defines the award is not the export. It's not the music exports, and the definition of it has very little to do with music. Yeah. It's about numbers. Yeah. How many people are following you? Because those are the people that are going to vote. So it doesn't matter where they place you. It doesn't matter which category or where. As long as you have the largest following, you're going to get... It's like the following defines the award. Oh, so it's not accurate at all.
Okay. So they are not rewarding the best fitting.
No.
Who has the biggest following on the ground?
They are rewarding who has the most following.
Oh, okay. So
the largest following.
So that makes the award more like a popularity.
Yes, it is. For now, that's what they are. They are. You know, that's the criteria. Whoever is most popular gets the award. It doesn't matter about genre.
I get you. And so you have been in the music industry for a long time.
Yes.
You've been in the Zambian music industry for a long time. What do you think are some of the gaps which are there in the Zambian music industry?
I think I'm sure you're aware that I don't even call it an industry, because a music industry should has a structure. You know, you have corporates on top there. You have, these big companies that have money, lots of money, right? So in South Africa, for example, they have Gallo. In the US, at some point, they had Motown and so on, right? EMI. All these corporates, all these people that have like lots of money, they are right there, executive producers, right? They have all the money. And then from there, and then you have the structure from corporates, then you have all these people that would be like maybe booking agents that will actually, or scouts, talent scouts. Yeah. These will go out to look for talent, and then from there you have managers, you have, who else? Attorneys, like lawyers, music lawyers, so that, they will have your intellectual property or your copyright thing has to really be serious, because when the music gets out there, it gets out, So you have all these structures in the music industry. In Zambia, we do not have those kind of structures. We just have, the star, the superstar guy, or the guy, the artist, and maybe they'll have the artist to have a manager, and that's it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and nothing else. Maybe they have small people around helping, but it's in Zambia. The music economy is run by the artist and the manager. Those two. There's no corporate there. There's no legal structure around what you do and so on. So those structures are missing, and that is why I don't call it an industry. I feel like it's not there.
You call it an economy. I think
yes.
I saw someone say it's music economy.
Yes.
Rather than a music industry. So what are some of the lessons that I've heard you have mentioned, like South Africa? What can we learn like from countries like Nigeria and South Africa? Because I think when you look at the global market right now from African countries, the biggest countries that are exporting music, even in the US, and it's Nigeria and South Africa.
Yeah. So I think it's the structure that just from talking about these particularly when you talk about South Africa, they have the structure. They have a music industry, and it's been there for a long time. You know, it's been going on for a long time. So there's that, but also we should not forget about the numbers.
Yes.
So South Africa is a large country, and also Nigeria, same. You know, so there's all these structures that kind of like provide a network, or that facilitate that network between the artist and all these other markets, so global markets. You know, but also those markets, the markets out there, will be interested in having you or signing you when they see the numbers. You know, like Nigeria, for example, you're talking about a country with about 200 million people or over 200 million people. You know, so I mean, those numbers are not a joke. And so for South Africa, same. You know, you have I don't know 50, 60 million people. When you talk, but looking at these smaller countries, like say for example Zambia, how many are we now? 18, according to
the statistics.
Central Statistics. People, so around 18 million. That's not a lot.
Yeah, that's not a lot.
That's okay, but it's not.
We're not yet at
Malawi is like what, 21. Zimbabwe. So these are like small, in terms of numbers. These are like small, because you could actually have Malawi, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Namibia, who else? Zambia. All these countries put together, you are still going to have less in terms of numbers as compared to, say, for example, South Africa. Because Namibia, Botswana, forget it. It's like 2 million, 3 million. You know, it's not.
Yeah, they're not big countries.
No. You know, so all these, so you can imagine that. So I think it's the most important thing is structure, having a structure in place, because that will facilitate networking. You know, you'll be able to network with other people, but also numbers. I think it's important for us to start working towards that, and I can see it happening now because the structure is not there, but I think artists are taking it up to themselves to do these things, because what I see happening now is a lot of collaborations between, like, you know, Zambian artists, for example, Nigerians or Malawians or Zimbabweans. Yeah. So I can see that that's one way that we could do. I think one thing I've learned is that there's power in the numbers.
Oh, in the numbers, yeah.
You see?
Yeah, because there's another issue where a lot of creatives complain about in terms of YouTube monetization, because they say most of the content that are placed on these social medias, because Zambia has not yet reached a level where it is monetized, a lot of them are not making money from it.
That's true.
So maybe with what you are saying, if there's more collaboration, maybe that can attract or can give an eye to these big companies. Okay, we can now do this in Zambia.
But I think artists have found a way around it, because so I know that a bunch of artists in Zambia, especially those that are aware of what's going on in terms of monetization, they just find somebody in the US. Or,
Oh yeah,
so they so they use they use somebody else, somebody who is in a country where this monetization is already happening.
They get that. And do that. There was an issue that you once spoke about concerning the copyright law and creative ownership.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that artists should look out for in terms of
the draft one, the new one?
Yeah, the draft one.
Well, so I think the most worrying thing there is control of. It just sounds like Pakra is going to have so much control. The artist is not going to. It looks like Pakra is going to have so much control. But I feel like, of course, that wasn't final. But there is need for artists and all the stakeholders to look at that document page for page, and just kind of like revise a few things. That one of the things that I thought wasn't right was this producer-musician relationship. So when we go out to record as musicians, we pay the producer, and then that's it. We get our master, our recording, and go our way. Or whatever we do with that is our business, and the producer is in the studio, and other people go to record and so on. But what they are saying, one of those was one of the revisions that they are putting forward for approval, or was the artist and the producer will have to share. Say, for example, if a piece of music is used for communication purposes, so or say we have campaigns coming soon, let's say elections coming soon. So if your music is used by one of these political parties or even electoral bodies to say, okay, we like this piece of music, we are going to pay you. They are saying you will have to share remuneration from those kind of arrangements with the producer. And then there's also this. I wish I had the document with me, but off the top of my head, there's also this idea that's the idea of rearrangements or renditions, where I do a song and then somebody else comes to do the same song, but then they come up with an arrangement that's kind of different from mine. They will be allowed to also copyright it in their own right. So you can see the confusion that will be. And now the artist is like, okay, but I did create that. Of course, it's been rearranged, but it's still my creation. I'm the one who started it. So there's all these things loose ends that I feel like Pakra and all the stakeholders, musicians, artists, everybody should sit down and really look at these things critically before it goes out, before it goes to Parliament. Because once it becomes law, then it's going to get us in trouble. I know that right now, it doesn't look like it, but at some point, that's going to be very problematic.
And the problem is that most of the stakeholders, the interested parties in terms of that copyright law, have not checked it out yet.
No, I don't think people have had time to look at it, And that is why, for me, I think the best would be to have some kind of like workshop or seminar or whatever, where all these interested parties come together and look at the document together, page by page, and critically analyze what's there.
I think it goes back to the same thought you had said about not having structure, because if the industry had lawyers,
exactly,
they were going to go through page by page and giving advice the artists about, okay, these are the disadvantages.
So you can see why we are not an industry.
Yes, now I get it now.
Because the people that are supposed to be doing that, the attorneys are not there.
They're not
to do that. Because if each one of us, for example, if we had that kind of structure, it was going to be a different story. Because as a group, those attorneys were going to be like, okay, this document right now is not okay. We need time to sit down and revise.
Yeah, true.
Sections of it. But yeah, so those are some of the problems that you encounter when you don't have a proper structure.
Yeah. So I hope I've been seeing the Zambia Music Association. I hope that's the first step in terms of trying to organize artists and just bring artists together.
Yeah, this is what, March? Yeah. I think end of March, that thing, we only have 2 weeks before that thing goes.
Oh.
So
okay, so we are sort of behind time when it comes to that. Mm-hmm. The other thing that is going on right now in terms of the music industry is the use of artificial intelligence in terms of the making of music. What are your thoughts when it comes to artificial intelligence? And
I haven't really engaged with artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
At that level, of course, there's noise around it. There's people, and at some point, somebody was saying YouTube won't be paying, or some streaming platforms won't be paying music that's created using artificial intelligence.
Okay.
Which I think is a good thing. But also, I think it's important to know that artificial intelligence has been going on for some time now.
Yeah.
Maybe not at this level, but when you think of maybe autotune as a pitch correction application.
Yeah.
That in a way is artificial intelligence because autotune will detect a note that's not in key
and then
tune it. So I think that was the beginning of artificial intelligence. So at this level, on the other hand, I think the creative industry is going to be diluted in a way because then you are going to, because of artificial intelligence, pretty much anybody or everybody will be able to create, right? Yeah. And so that's going to be, I feel that's what's going to happen. It's like the creative industry or the creative space is going to be diluted in terms of, because all this music is going to be in this space, and then it will be hard to know
what is real. Yeah, because some of the songs, remember the time you interact with some of the songs, some of them you can't really tell that actually it's AI, especially for these ones that are done in English. At least for the local ones, you can see that that pronunciation of that word is not correct. Yeah. It's not like very correct. But for like the English songs,
So I think for indigenous cultures, artificial intelligence still has a long way.
We have to learn
because, for example, African languages are tonal, right?
Yeah.
So you have examples like Bemba. My Bemba is not so good. But say, for example, a word in Bemba, such as chivi. Chivi is door, right?
Yeah.
And then chivi
can be bad.
But it's the same word, right?
It's the same word. Just how you just pronounce it.
Intonate it, the intonation there. Yeah. So for now, because AI is being advanced by Western cultures, right?
Yeah, true.
So for now, because I've heard songs on Facebook or YouTube, like they're trying to sing like, there's a song. I think it's like a campaign song or something. What's the name of that song? Zambian. David, which song is that? Munyaule. Which one is it?
It's a campaign song.
Well, they are kind of like talking about these politicians and stuff like that. But anyway, it's they're trying to sing Bemba, but I think it's that kind of, they use artificial intelligence where you have text in Bemba and then you try to. So it sounds okay until when they start singing, then you realize that no, this is this is not a person.
Yeah, because at one point there was one of a song that trended a lot. I think
that's the one.
That's Shae by that should be Prophet Siame.
That's a gospel.
Yeah, it is a gospel song. It was all over the place, and it's only artists
who could
tell. No, this is AI. For a common person, they wouldn't like really tell. But but it was completely AI. Though, yeah, the owner said he used AI just to enhance his voices and the likes.
So, but what makes music interesting is that the imperfection, those errors, or maybe not errors, but the imperfectness of maybe our singing or when we play an instrument, those kind of things that make you tell to say, oh, yeah, this person is actually playing the guitar or is actually singing. Those are the things that make it interesting. So when you get rid of those, then I think it's not. Of course, it's going to be perfect, but then it's not going to be as interesting.
Yeah. So in terms of moving away from artificial intelligence, for let's say Zambian creatives now who wants to go abroad and wants, like you say, that there's a need for more collaboration and just reaching a global market.
Yeah.
How should, because I've seen that some artists, to try to market themselves, they start sounding Nigerian or get the Afro beat. So how should a Zambian, like this guy, Alinafe, how should he brand himself in terms of when he is now getting into the industry? Should he try to pick what is trending in South Africa or?
Well, so that's my research was on Z beats.
Yes.
Like musical labor, like shifts in musical labor and music production in home studios in the production of Zambia's popular music. And particularly, I was looking at Z beats, right? And one of the characteristics of Z beats is that it's in motion. It's never been one thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like whatever is trending out there, quickly these guys will grab it and use it in their music, But I think what we need most of all is an identity.
Okay.
And so for Venalinafe and all those young artists that are aspiring to tour abroad, I think, of course, they can tour with these collaborations anytime. If they get lucky, do a collaboration with somebody and then they get the numbers, they can. But I think what we need most is an identity. Where you sing, people should be able to say, okay, that song sounds Zambian. Or where you listen to an instrumental, you should be able to say, you should be able to place it. Locate it to say, okay, this is Zambian. And of course, there are a number of ways of doing that. You could incorporate indigenous musical instruments, so kalimba, silimba, or whatever it is. But also, one of the ways how you can do that is master a language, an indigenous, language. So if it's Bemba, master it in such a way that when you sing, somebody in the village should be able to say, okay, should be able to understand you. To say, okay, yes, this is, because sometimes, even Nyanja, sometimes I listen to these songs, like we said, intonation, right?
Yeah.
You find somebody, Zambian, singing Nyanja as if they are English. So I think, I think kind of like, first, getting an identity and having that foreground your creativity. And then when you have that, you can do whatever you want around it. You can have a reggae rhythm. You can blend. You can fuse in jazz or whatever it is. But as long as that foundation is there, that baseline is there, I think that's what's important. So that has to be there. You have to find something. Like I said, it can be a language. Master it in such a way that you are there. You have no issues with intonation. You have no issues with, and of course, your vocabulary too. You need to be able to use words that you can't have a limited vocabulary, and and because what will happen is when your vocabulary in a language is good, you will be able to tell stories very well, or better tell stories than when you have a limited. So I think that's what I would say. I think identity for me is a big thing, and how you create that is just mastering something. Yeah. It could be a musical instrument indigenous to Zambia, but also even a language. Yeah.
I think talking about having an identity.
Yes.
Oh, you have a question?
Yes.
Yes, I know.
So talking about the same situation. So would you say we need more, because we had Zamrock, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So do you think right now you would advise some of the upcoming artists to try and pick that up? Because that was like an identity for Zambians.
Well, they're already doing it, right?
Yeah.
So I've heard people already using or trying to align their music to that. So, this is Zamrock, even if it's not, like, but the idea, you can tell that actually what they're doing is they're trying to get back to their roots. They're trying to reconnect, which is a good thing, So even if, they'll call it Zamrock, but you listen to it, there is very little Zamrock elements in there. But they're still calling their music Zamrock. And the idea there is to just try and align themselves to, or reconnect to Zambian culture, yeah.
So what makes Zamrock Zamrock? Because I've never really understood, because I know rock music is Western.
Yeah.
So what element in Zamrock is Zambian?
So you could talk about the language, like we said.
The language, okay.
So think of people like Pongozi, the Witch.
Oh, the Witch,
who are like maybe the biggest, the most famous Zamrock outfit, at least out there. There's Ricky Lironga, all those people. But I think what makes it Zamrock is the fusion, the fusion of rock music, Western or American rock music, and Zambian musical elements. When you talk about Zambian musical elements, it could be singing in a local language, but then on a rock beat, but also other musical elements such as time signature, for example. So in Zambian, when you talk about Zambian music or indigenous Zambian music, we are going to talk about time signatures such as 6/8 or 12/8. So you know how most Western music is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, right? But most indigenous music is in it's in triplets, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Each beat is equal to like 3 smaller, or you could divide a beat into like 3 subdivisions. So we could talk about use of Zambian language, but also use of time signature indigenous to Zambia. You could talk about the singing style, such as call and response, which is also indigenous to Zambia. Call and response. So somebody calls and then you answer. So there's that. So just a fusion of rock music and musical elements indigenous to Zambia. That's Zamrock.
Okay. So what is ours then? Is Kalindula what we can really call Zambian?
Yeah, what we can call Zambian Kalindula, but even Kalindula, for me, it was kind of like we're kind of like imitating Western ensembles or Western bands, because Kalindula, the original Kalindula, started on those instruments that were modeled on Western band instruments. So like a guitar, for example, instead of a guitar looking like that, because we didn't have access, we made our own that we called the banjo.
Banjo,
and then you had the babaton. This it looked like a double bass. Uh-huh.
So that's a bass guitar.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So, but that idea is still a Western idea. So those instruments were modeled on instruments that they saw in a band from America or Europe. So yes, we could say that the elements there are very connected to indigenous Zambian, music. So yes, we could say Kalindula, but we shouldn't forget that there is a lot of indigenous music out there. Yeah. All these kind of like music styles that we listen to when we go to these traditional ceremonies. Nchwala, Gulewa, what's that? Kulamba for the Chewa and Kuomboka. All that, there's lots of music. That is Zambian music. If you want Zambian music, that's where you find it. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to ask about your collaboration with Mumbayachi. Because I've seen, I think, that you'll be dropping it 2 albums, or it's 1?
Well, I'll be dropping 2.
Okay, so it's only 1 that you're collaborating with him.
Yes, so Mumbayachi, we are collaborating on an album. It's called Mvetsetsa, meaning listen carefully. And this was actually, it's very low key. It's mostly folk, so folky kind of. Mumba has his own album after this. So we are planning to drop this in June.
Okay.
And then there is another album that I'm working on with Muse, and this is we are calling it Gule Reggae. So this is going to be a fusion of reggae and indigenous music, musical elements. There's a lot of kalimba in there,
okay.
but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So how is it working with, let's say, Mumbayachi?
It's good. It's very chill. It's very relaxed. We'll go, but I think also sometimes there has to be some kind of chemistry, okay. for work like that to, So the first song that I did with Mumbayachi was a song called Mbambande, which is on my Konka album.
I love that song.
Oh, you know the song, right?
yeah, that one, I love it.
Yeah, so we did it, and we thought, this thing is working. This is good. So we decided, and the album that we're dropping this year, we started working on it maybe 3 years ago. So it's it's been So it's been going on for some time, but it's good working with Mumba. Okay. He's a very laid back person. I am myself, so I don't like stress in the studio.
And you're both very artistic.
Yeah. So,
we can't wait for that album. So on the Sport Podcast, we have some sport questions.
Yeah.
Where we just ask you a question and you give us an answer to them. So the first one is, according to you, who is the greatest Zambian musician of all time?
Pongos was my favorite.
Okay.
Even when I was a kid, this was way before this music idea came. I loved Pongozi. I think the storytelling was great, but I also thought he was very humorous. He was very funny in terms of his lyricism.
Oh yeah, lyricism.
Yeah. It was one of my favorite songs.
Okay. Which traditional instrument, would you advise every musician to learn, the Zambian musician to learn, a traditional one that you would recommend, even for enough?
Even for enough?
Yes.
It depends. People have different talents. So some people are not really into instruments. They want to just write a song, and especially nowadays, it's easy for people to record a song because you go into a studio and you have a producer who is going to do everything for you. But I think some of the especially when you talk about schools, because there is all these people that graduate. Even in Horn College, they graduate from there. They go out to teach, and so you would think, because the people graduate every year, and you would think that there is a lot of music going on in these schools. But when you go to these schools, very little music. Sometimes you have music teachers or people that were trained to be music teachers, and they're teaching English. They have nothing to do with music. And then when you ask them, I remember. So when I moved to Chipata, there was no music. The whole province, from Luangwa all the way to Mwami, border with Malawi. There was no music there. I had to introduce music. So I introduced music at Chipata Day Secondary School. And, and I had to struggle because the headmaster then didn't want me to do it, because they're like, oh, no, music teachers are a problem because you will introduce music 2 years down the line. Then there's a college in Chipata, Chipata Teachers Training College. So according to the headmaster then at Chipata Day Secondary School, he said Chipata Teachers Training College would poach these music teachers.
Oh, then they'll go to the college.
Yeah. So the music program wasn't like growing there. It was just like you have somebody introduce music, they teach it for 2 years, they leave. They join Chipata Teachers Training College, and then they have to start from scratch. So he was very, very against the idea, very much against the idea of me introducing music. But anyway, I did. Introduced music. And then I told you about my first tour to Europe in 2001. There was a guy who had just graduated college, Evelyn Horn, music teacher, who joined Chipata Day. Then I gave him my music classes to say, oh, you are here. Good, perfect timing. Here are my classes. I'm going on leave. When I returned to Zambia 6 months later, oh no, it was a year later, music was gone. There was no music at... but you're a music teacher, what happened? And most of them will tell you, no, because we do not have musical instruments. So actually what I would love for musicians to start exploring, and even like music teachers and their students in these schools, is small instruments like the kalimba. For example, and I say the kalimba because, one, it's easy to carry around, it's portable, but also it's easier to learn.
Okay.
So kalimba, and we also have instruments like sirimba.
What's the difference? So kalimba, because kalimba is red, right?
Well, kalimba is small, that's a kalimba.
That's a kalimba. Then the sirimba is bigger.
The sirimba, yes. The sirimba is bigger.
Bigger version of a kalimba.
They're not the same instrument. So
they're not the same.
The sirimba, the keys are made out of wood.
The one they call the xylophone.
Yeah, you could say xylophone, but
The
ones Lowe's is playing.
The one common
yes,
in Western Province.
Yes. So that's the sirimba. And then the other thing also about the sirimba is that you use mallets. So you use these mallets to hit the keys, right? It also, the amplification is also different. Oh, well, actually it's similar because kalimba, traditional kalimba, will have this big gourd. So you put it inside there for amplification. And with the sirimba, you have a separate gourd or resonator for each key. So the idea is the same, but I think there are differences in terms of how you play the instrument, and also how the keys are aligned, because the kalimba is tuned in contramotion. So when I say contramotion, you have this hand going right, this one going left, like this.
Oh, so you go like the other?
Yeah, you go both.
Oh,
right?
okay.
But the sirimba, it's only one direction, so low to high, like keys. Yeah, like the pitch increases as you go.
Okay. What could be like the one song that had the most impact on you?
Konka. Yeah, I think before Konka was Nela for a long time, but I think Konka is like, yeah.
Yeah, Konka is actually big, a big song. According to you, what can be Zambia's biggest cultural strength?
Cultural strength.
Yes.
Music, Of course.
Yeah, music.
And also crafts.
Craft, okay.
Like small things that we make out of, say, beads. That's also a big thing. Language. Remember, we have 72 ethnic groups.
Yeah, true.
Each one speak their own language. And of course, some are quite similar. You can understand each other, but still, so that could also be our strength. Yeah.
Okay. What, let's say in the next 50 years, what would be the legacy that when people hear the name Mathew Tembo, what would be that legacy that you want to be remembered for? Like, okay, after 100 years, when someone comes across Mathew Tembo, what should be something that should stand out for them?
My passion for indigenous Zambian music. Yeah, I think that's what I would want to be remembered for. So this guy was passionate about Zambian music, about preserving it, about exporting it even. Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Mathew Tembo or Dr. Mathew Tembo, it has been a privilege having you on the Sport Podcast.
Thank you so much.
Do we have any questions from David and Alina Fere?
Just a request from me. I want you to illustrate for us how
the kalimba,
But you guys have amplification issues here.
We'll try to.
We want the microphone next to the we want the microphone next to the kalimba.
Yeah. This is one of my new songs.
Okay. It's speaking?
Yeah.
Great.
Mic drop.
That's ending strong. So any last way? When I know you have spoken when you're dropping the album. Are you doing any shows on the Copper Belt? Are you doing a Zambia tour? What are the things?
Yeah. Well, last words. Thank you for having me, and I'm excited about my new fans, and I'm excited about giving them new music. And this year is going to be lots of music. So yes, like we mentioned earlier, there's an album that I'm doing with Mumbayachi. It's going to be dropping in June, called Mvesesa, and then there's another album that I'll be dropping, another collaboration with Muse. It's a reggae fusion album. But yes, after June, after we release the album, we definitely will do a national tour. Usually when we do this, it's we just target like the main towns. So of course Lusaka, Kitwe, Ndola. I have had 3 concerts in Kitwe so far, and all of them have been great. So yeah, Livingston, of course, Chipata. So yes, we will do some kind of like a national tour.
Okay.
So look out for the music, and we're excited.
So where can they follow you on Facebook? What is your quite a handle? What is your handle on Facebook? Are you on TikTok as well?
I'm on TikTok, but I'm not as active on TikTok. I'm still trying to figure out how that works. But yeah, it's Mathew Tembo. So Mathew with 1 T. So Mathew, and then Tembo, Tembo. And I know that on the Copper Belt, I don't know what problem you guys have here. Instead of Mathew, they want to say Matthew. In fact, they don't even say Matthews, they say Matthews. Matthews. It's not Matthew.
It's a couple of things.
Yeah. So Mathew with 1 T, no S. It's Mathew Tembo, yes.
Tembo. And on YouTube?
Same, Mathew Tembo, yes.
Yeah, they say I'm moving on Spotify. You have your it's Conca on YouTube, right?
A few songs. I didn't. I see now that YouTube is becoming like a streaming platform.
Yeah.
You know, because I think when it started, we used it as just like a marketing platform where you drop like maybe 1 or 2 songs for the whole album. And I remember we even used to say, you can't, you can't. What do you call it? Upload all your song, or the whole album on. But now I see people doing that.
Yeah,
so now I think it's become like a streaming platform.
Yeah.
So for the new album, yes, Conquer is a few songs from the Conquer album are actually on YouTube. So you have Conquer itself, you have Mwenikana.
Oh, Mwenikana.
Yes. Yes. Are those the only? I think those are the only songs, right?
Yeah.
And then after Conquer, I did Mtendere.
Yeah.
So from the Mtendere album, you have Mtendere itself. You have What Is Love, and then you have, what song is that? Tizita also. So yeah, there are a few songs on there but of course, there are songs from 2001. So there's Nela, Kumari and Dim, you have all these songs. But for the upcoming albums, we will try to upload the whole album on there, because I see now that's what people are doing.
All right. No, thank you very much for finding time to speak to us, especially for finding time to speak to the youth on Youth Day.
On Youth Day, happy Youth Day.
No, thank you. This has been a very good Youth Day present.
Yes.
No, we are very happy to have you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was our discussion that we had with our father here, our uncle, Mathew Tembo. Follow him on the platforms, and remember to follow Easy Media on Facebook, follow the podcast on YouTube and TikTok as well. And remember to subscribe, drop the comments. We are out of here. As we're coming out, Alinafe, this is your time, your chance to sing with your...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, play.